Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, get everything up into the cloud, get those service contracts in, and save money all year long. Hey, 2026 is right around the corner. Time to act now. So head on over to copiers-plus.com. I'll be checking in with Steven Godfrey from the Yahoo College Football Podcast, Phantom Island, and the Washington Post. We'll get into the dynamics of the ACC, Notre Dame, and what's this offseason going to be like for Bill Belichick? We'll also tell it's going to be an interesting one.
I would suggest that the positive vibes only does not apply.
No, probably not. Probably not. But positive vibes for the John Wall Holiday Invitational. It's back next week. We will be sitting down with Shannon Scott. We'll find out more about that and how you can get involved. It's an important event here in the Triangle, and we want to keep this thing going. It's a thing that we love here. We want to keep it going, so we'll tell you how you can do that. And we didn't do a show yesterday, or we didn't publish a show yesterday. I was going to
say, excuse me, I did 3 hours of show yesterday. So,
hey, y'all talk about how. Well, we don't care how long the podcast is.
Excuse me.
So we're putting you to the test for our 2025 OG Year in Review, which, big thanks to Color Graphic. Hit them up, sales@colorgraphic.com, because, Joe, they put together the cycle of Dave Doran. I don't want to spoil too much with the red Solo Cup.
That's the real key right there.
The red Solo Cup that puts it on the cycle of where we're at, which, for those watching at home, right now it's on the Beat Carolina, Dave is the best. But, Joe, Friday, we get the next spot of the cycle.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet.
Enjoy the high tide.
So Color Graphic put this together. It's fantastic. We got Velcro. We got a little red Solo Cup to tell you where we are on the cycle. I don't want to spoil too much of our OG 2025 Year in Review, but something tells me that Dave Doran might be the main character of 2025.
He's definitely on the list.
Yes, indeed.
He's on the list. I think at the end of the Sports Illustrated run, when they were still Sports Illustrated, not whatever zombie form they're in now.
Yeah.
They would give you like 3 options at the end. Like, all right, is it Gino Auriemma this year? Is it Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Or is it LeBron James? And then you had to wait till they unveiled the Sports Person of the Year. So
yes,
we have the OG Sports Person of the Year this year.
All right, I am looking forward to this. Everybody has their things, their sports personality, their sports media person of the year, their predictions for everything else, all that kind of fun stuff. But we go from the year to the week. Let's talk some college hoops, shall we? We'll hit Duke, we'll hit Carolina, we'll hit NC State. Although let's start with NC State and we'll circle back to them at the end, because if you're bringing up people of the year, should we just go ahead and shout out the player of the week? Joe, the player of the week. This is from the AP. Kansas's Melvin Council Jr. named AP Men's College Basketball Player of the Week.
Scroll back down just a little bit.
Scroll back down.
So we can see the actual contest. Go down. The picture.
Oh, the picture. Oh. Ooh.
Up. Yeah, like, that's not much of a contest.
No.
No. I don't know what point in the game that was.
I don't know. It was... poor Kadir Copeland.
You got to close out a little.
He's not quite there. And this is from the AP story. He had just made 5 of 27 3-pointers. Council took advantage of the Wolfpack sagging in defense to build a confident rhythm that would ultimately carry through a tight finish, making 4 threes in the first 15 minutes and scored the last 13 points of regulation for Kansas. So, Joe, he was your Wolfpack hero for the day on Saturday. What did he do last night?
They played Towson. He scored 15 points. He actually did make 3 threes, which would be normally his season high.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
So it wasn't a terrible drop-off.
We'll get back to State in a little bit. In the meantime, congratulations to John Shire, Duke basketball coach. Fastest ACC coach to reach 100 wins. Faster than Vic Bubas. Faster than Roy Williams.
To remind me of these things
What?
On a daily basis.
What's that?
My 98 vibes means I need to get a piece of Duke. I have plenty of Michigan. I have plenty of Arizona.
Okay.
I need to grab a piece of Duke while the number's still halfway decent.
Oh, I see what you're doing here. say you've got pieces of various teams. Who do you have? I have it all this year.
My high tide number for Michigan is plus 900. It's down to 450.
Okay.
I have Arizona at 14-1. It's down to 9.
Mm-hmm.
I have none of Duke, but right now I can grab Duke at 10-1 or bet $100, win 1,000.
That's not bad.
Question is, does Duke want me getting a piece of them? Because if I get a piece of you, you're almost guaranteed to be the runner-up.
So
because the way my losses work is my radar is pretty good.
Okay.
But
so tell you what,
I almost never have the winner, but I'll have you in the final game.
Tell you what. Do you? All right. You know what? F it. Let's just go ahead and
let's have a meeting here in the middle of our OG gambling syndicate.
Yeah.
Would you like to set up a charity where like a event, like you can Venmo you, or we set up a GoFundMe? So instead of, hey Joe, instead of like all these Duke fans that want to have the 98 vibes.
Oh yeah, to keep them immaculate.
To keep them immaculate. What you're going to do is,
Giglio,
hey, Joe, instead
don't get a ticket.
Instead of getting a ticket, how about I put $5 down on this for a charity?
Yeah, I'm all for helping anybody. The Duke Children's Hospital.
You want to workshop that?
I'm all for helping the Duke Children's
For all the
Hospital.
Duke fans that are in the audience.
The Duke Cancer Center. I'm all for helping the
Joe,
Duke Cancer Center.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. Keep those tickets on Michigan, Arizona, whoever else. But don't touch us.
Do you want to know when I grabbed the piece of the Patriots?
When?
At halftime on Sunday. Because you know why?
And what happened after that, Joe?
No, you know what my theory was? Because you know there's always a theory, like the 98 Vols. That's what Duke is, right?
Joe, the cooler Giglio.
But I have theories.
Yeah, of course. You always have a theory.
So Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win was against the Rams.
Yes.
Tom Brady's last Super Bowl win with the Patriots was against the Rams.
Yes.
I have convinced myself from the beginning, and I have a very, very good piece of the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like you will not hear me complaining at all if the Rams actually pull this thing into the barn. Okay.
Yeah.
So my theory on Sunday, watching them work the Bills in the first half, was if Brady's first one came against the Rams, well, then Drake May's first one has to come against the Rams.
The way you overthink.
So I took a Rams Patriots exacta at halftime. Imagine my surprise at the end of the game. Can I also tell you something else?
Sure, by all means. It's your podcast as much as mine.
In week 1,
yeah,
I'm watching and I'm like, man, after watching the Packers, I'm like, man, they got Micah Parsons there. This is it. So you know what I did at halftime of that game?
I don't know.
I had the Packers in the chamber, and then I'm like, man, the Ravens are really putting it on the Bills right now.
Mm-hmm.
I took the Ravens to win the Super Bowl in week 1.
Yeah, haven't been the same since.
They lost that game. The Patriots on Sunday lost that game. The moral of this story is you do not want me taking a piece of your team.
So, all right. Sounds to me like
certainly in real time.
Sounds to me we're going to have to set up some sort of website for a GoFundMe, and that way we can just like give it to Duke Children's Hospital or something like that.
I like that.
Okay. So, hey, to keep Joe from getting a ticket on Duke this season, well, how about we raise
Is that
money
like an
for
honor
charity?
system that I still can't get like a little piece of?
Nope. Can't touch it. Can't touch it.
Can't get a little
Nope.
piece.
Absolutely
Nope,
not.
no piece.
No piece. Zero piece. Because apparently anything you touch goes bad.
How about the Final Four?
No.
To make the Final Four?
No. Because then they won't make the Final Four. No. So don't do it. Absolutely not. Now, we're having fun with taking tickets early on, the futures, all that kind of fun stuff. Look, holiday football is here. We got bowl games. We got the college football playoff. Hey, the cycle of Dave Dorn is going to start back up again on Friday. So, hey, man, get on DraftKings.
Now, wait a second. I will recommend to anyone out there, you can bet on anything you like. Filipino basketball, soccer that you've never seen before.
It's Memphis, dude.
Do not bet on bowl games. I am just telling you right now.
But it's Memphis.
No, it is true sicko behavior to bet on bowl games.
It's Memphis, Joe.
Don't do it.
Either way, holiday football has arrived. We all know this. And with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, the unexpected can turn game day into payday. And don't forget, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use that promo code OG25. Again, that's OG25. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. OG25. New customers, $5. You win $200 in bonus bets instantly. So head on over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. So, as I mentioned, Duke in action. Yesterday with Duke and Carolina, I only watched the second halves of each game based on my hockey schedule yesterday, for kid hockey schedule. So I was only able to really watch the second halves of both games. And both games were set up with your classic mid to late December exams, sleepy opponent, sleepy crowd, not exactly a full Cameron Indoor Stadium yesterday. But what I did not expect was Duke to turn the ball over 17 times in the first half. I think it was in the first half that they had 17 turnovers. And they 22 turnovers for the game, 17 team fouls. Excuse me. I got that number wrong. They had 16 turnovers in the first half, 12 fouls before halftime. And all of those turnovers, all of those fouls allowed Lipscomb to make this an absolute game early on. Eventually, Duke takes the lead by halftime, and then Cameron Boozer happens, and there's your ball game. But this is a classic. You looked at the final score, you thought Duke cruised. No, incorrect. That is not what happened. But Cam Boozer continues to be the story about Duke basketball. And John Shire talked about this after the game. Obviously, there are some things that would raise some red flags, like all those turnovers, regardless of the opponent. I guess the other thing, Joe, that is kind of finally coming into focus, and Shire talked about this a little bit yesterday in the postgame, is what's up with the small forward? How is this going to solidify? Dame Sarr, who I know you were hyped about in the offseason, hasn't exactly fit into that role yet, hasn't necessarily taken over that role. Kaminia hasn't exactly taken over that role. But when you got Cam Boozer making plays, he was creating everything in the second half, you're going to like your chances. I don't think it really diminishes anything from Duke's season so far. Classic sleepy game. But of course, the OG Sports Phone keeps vigilant eye on what's happening in Triangle basketball. It's the beauty of this area. The opposing fans, they're watching your games too.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
Let us go to a 919.
Duke fans? Okay, let's have a talk. Let's be real. It's okay now that Carolina struggled a little bit with Navy and USC upset at the beginning, right? We're not gonna get on our high horse after struggling to put away Lipscomb for about 25 minutes, are we? We good? We're not going to compare unhealthy UNC team to a fully staffed Duke squad because Cam Boozer didn't decide to fully Cam Boozer, and y'all aren't as deep as y'all think you are. Huh? No, we know y'all are another tier right now. We're not hating. We just need to understand that it ain't that easy. Okay, Duke. Okay, good talk. See you around, little brother.
I love this area. Keeping watchful eye on what you're doing. He's right about the depth, by the way. It's something to keep an eye on for Duke. All right, back to the sports phone to a 910.
Headed home from the Carolina basketball game. For the most part, Carolina took care of business with East Tennessee State. First game I've been to this year, and also the first game I've been to with this particular buddy that I went to the game with. first time we've been to a game together since Clemson broke the Smith Center streak, however many years ago that was. So there were some uncomfortable moments early in the first half when they kept hitting some crazy-ass late shot clock prayers. We kind of look at each other like, shit, can we not go to games together? But Carolina got it together. I've said it before on here. I'll say it again. It's really nice to have, like, really tall, skilled big men. Who knew? Anyway, go Heels.
Yeah, that was the story last night with Caleb Wilson and Vesar. Again, another classic. You see the final score, you think it was a blowout. Not necessarily. It was a tight game for a half. Second half, Carolina goes on this run, and Caleb Wilson and Vesar combined for, I believe, 46 points and 16 boards. That is what Carolina basketball fans like to see.
Just one point about these games, or two, I guess. Lipscomb and East Tennessee State, they're both good teams in their conference, both teams that traditionally have been in the running to make the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you're thinking, oh, they're not that good. And it's like, okay, Melvin Council for Kansas, right? Well, he was a transfer from
St. Bonaventure.
From Wagner.
Yeah.
Like, college basketball has flattened out considerably in the last 5 to 6 years in post-pandemic. So there aren't any games that you should go into and be like, oh, well, it's just, Lipscomb. It's just, East Tennessee State. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like these are teams that have some pride and they have some good coaches and they have some good talent that you're probably going to see playing in the ACC. It's not, or a power conference very soon, coming to a power conference near you. Second part, these games are literally scheduled to be setups so that in the post exam schedule, your guys are not going out and trying to go win a game without playing and shaking some of the rust off. Because
this game happens now so that Carolina is not in that situation against Ohio State on
correct.
Saturday.
And Duke has a really tough game on Saturday against Texas Tech up at the Garden. So there's a reason you play these games, and there's also a reason that Duke and Carolina and Will has done a good job too with his scheduling. You can't get like these 300 plus teams on your schedule. Duke has one. Well, that was Army. I think there was a reason they went and played that game. Yeah, they played Niagara too, but that's Greg Paulus is their coach. So I wouldn't dismiss these teams as, oh, hey, it's just so-and-so or so-and-so. Everyone's got a guy, man. Everybody's got a guy.
Can I dismiss ECU, though, for Carolina? They're hovering. ECU, they're hovering there up at 300 or so.
ECU had a big win on Sunday against Buffalo. No lie.
Okay.
Buffalo.
No, I know. You're right.
They were down 20-something, and they came back.
You're right.
You're right. 20-something came back.
You're right.
It's Jeff Lebo gets a chance to get some revenge.
All right.
On the Pirates.
Let's go back to the sports phone to a 252.
Hey guys, just listened to the podcast from Monday. I just don't understand you guys' takes. Like, you guys are acting like this is a complete, absolute failure comparable to Bill Belichick. And you're comparing the guy to all this stuff. And I guess he came out hot out the gate, but but you guys are acting like it's over, like that this season's a wrap. Like, let's just put it into context that last year Kevin Keatts won 3 freaking non-conference, 3 conference games. The year before, we weren't going to make the tournament when we were 10th in the ACC until he went on a freaking magical run. And then the year before that, we had the worst season in NC State history. Let's put a little context into this thing. These are just horrible takes. And where was all this heat when Kevin Keatts was being bad? Let's put this into perspective here.
Did you listen to the fucking podcast, dude? Who said the season was over? Seriously, go back, watch the After Dark. Go back and watch the episode. Like that. You know what's a bad take? That fucking phone call's a bad take. Okay.
I will admit, I have been surprised by some of the reaction to Monday's show talking about NC State and being 0-4 in their big games this season and how they've looked in 3 of those 4 big games. Okay. I am legitimately surprised. I know there's a lot of investment and hype in Will Wade, but the caller brings up Bill Belichick. If your takeaway is that we're treating Will Wade and Bill Belichick as the same thing, if that's your takeaway, I mean, please clean out the earwax. Please. But a funny thing, though, that you bring up Bill Belichick.
It's got to be a Spanish thing.
What?
My 8th grade Spanish teacher, affectionately still known as Sra Haran.
Okay.
Because she would always put on the chalkboard SRA period Haran. Of course, Sra in Spanish is Mrs., right?
Yeah.
Sra Haran would always start like every class with escuchan.
Yeah.
And then she would say, you people need, and she was very quickly switched. You people need to clean the crap out of your ears. And it was like a 3-syllable crap.
Yep.
You people need to clean the crap out of your ears.
Mira, people. Mira. Escúchame, okay? Escúchame. Listen, guys. If your takeaway from Monday's conversation is that we were equating Bill Belichick and Will Wade, what the fuck are you guys listening to
our show?
I don't think so. However, since you brought up Bill Belichick, and that call is not the first one to do it, you know what is comparable? The way people are pivoting from the things that were said in the offseason real quick. Will Wade was not brought here for moral victories, okay? And the way people treating Saturday sounds a lot like a moral victory. We were one shot away. Carolina beat Kansas. Duke beat Kansas. Will Wade was brought here to do the same thing, and he didn't. And when you combine that with the 3 other big games, especially the Auburn game, and the way that the 3-point defense has been a problem so far this year, yeah, I think it's well enough fair to point out you've gone from Red Reckoning talk immediately out of the gate, not about appreciating the struggle. Those are 2 different things. So, as you said on Monday, Will Wade's now trying to correct that first mistake of the messaging early on. Like, especially another one that we haven't really, we've been focused on the Red Reckoning stuff. Like all the stuff he said about Van Allen Lubin and UNC, like, again, people keep track of these things. And now people are saying, hey, you said XYZ, and so far this season, I don't think it's a hot take to say that out of the gate, it has not met the expectations set by your own head coach. I don't know how that's a crap take. I don't know how that's out of pocket. I don't know how that's, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Will Wade had said this is going to happen, and everybody bought it. And now you do the checking up on what has happened in the first third of the season. And their big games, they've come up short. That's not what was promised. So that's issue number 1. So when you bring up the Belichick thing, you know who you sound a lot like? When you start talking about, hey, man, they came close, though. Hey, you know, they still got opportunities, XYZ. That sounds a lot like the Carolina fans that you were making fun of during the football season. So that's where we are today. I don't think that's a bad take. And if you're mad about that, man, take a step back and do a little self-assessment like we do from time to time. I even asked you yesterday, and I asked some other people, hey, am I off base here in like pointing out that they've played 4 big games, they've gone 0-4, and that's not the promise? Like, no, that's not off base. I'm like, all right, cool, got it. Now, what I think is being misinterpreted, if we can clean out the earwax here on this particular topic, what I think is being misinterpreted is NC State season is not over.
I was going to say the words that I used on Saturday and Monday were, if they play defense like they did against Liberty and Kansas, they will be served. That will serve them well moving forward.
Put a pin in
those. Were the words I used multiple times. I'd also add.
Put a pin in that defense. And if you're focused on the clip that I put out there, go focus on what you said, what Giglio said in that. Will Wade has done a good job in the last 2 games reassessing what his roster is and what it's going to have to be going forward. That's good coaching. We literally said that in this clip that went out that people got mad about. And then if you listen to the full podcast, and appreciate everybody who does listen to the full podcast, you would also have heard Giglio and me say, hey, man, he's trying to coach the team he has now rather than the team he wanted. And that's really hard for some coaches to be like, no, we promised Darian Williams to be the centerpiece, the ACC preseason player of the year. It's not there. You need the spark. You need the intensity. You need to be bringing it all the time. And Kadir Copeland has kind of taken that role on. Again, I think your exact words were, Will Wade's a skilled enough coach to make this thing happen. And the last 2 games will serve them well. I'm paraphrasing you, but I'm pretty sure that's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So again, where did we say the season was over? Where did we say it's a wrap? All I said was, so far to this point in the season, it has been a disappointment. Hard stop. If you disagree with that, then we're just going to have to agree to disagree. Based on...
I don't see how it could not be disappointing to have not a win over a power program.
Again, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that it's somehow bad for me to say that this start to the season has been a disappointment. But like we talked about in that second part of that segment, here's what lies ahead. And I do think it's interesting and cavalier that when we bring up the Q1 opportunities going forward for NC State, there's this cavalier attitude that they'll handle those Q1 opportunities. Based on what? Because there's still some work that has to be done between now and then. So we'll see what happens, but it's not a given, I think is the point. Now, if you want to get caught up in the whole business of like invoking Kevin Keats and Mark Gottfried and Herb Sendek and all that stuff, fine, so be it. But you're kind of missing the forest from the trees on the point. In that Will Wade was supposed to be different from these guys. And so far it's followed a little bit of a pattern. Do we all trust that Will Wade's a better coach than those guys that we just mentioned? Yes, but it remains to be seen. Also, the ACC looks a little bit more difficult than in years past. Hey man, Virginia's come out of the gate hot. Louisville lost last night to Tennessee, but that's going to be a tough game. You're just going to chalk up a Duke win at home? You're just chalking that up? Hey, Carolina, the Spider-Man pointing meme between NC State and Carolina, right?
God, those games are so far away.
But they're so far away. So far away in that
Virginia,
regard.
Wake, Ole Miss, that little stretch. Listen, on Thursday, we went over to the Rialto. We talked to Hayes. And Hayes, Permar, was like actually disappointed in me for not like taking more of a bow and a victory lap for literally being right about every single thing with NC State basketball this season and the offseason. Mm-hmm. And I was like, look, Hayes, I'm like, sometimes you just got to let your record speak for itself. I'm not going to sit here and dunk on the obvious. Sure. You can't let people be wide open and take shots. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. I'm not James Naismith over here reinventing basketball. But after listening to this caller, sorry, man, I hate to be an asshole, but I have literally been right about every single thing about NC State basketball right from the opening press conference where he said all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not NC State, man. Mm-hmm. That might be you, but that's not NC State.
Well, I'm not going to fault, to your point, I'm not going to fault Will Wade for trying to reshape the culture or try to get out of that mindset. I'm not going to fault him for that. But where I will say that you were right, and I probably was a little too cavalier, was that exhibition game. Because, my general attitude, man, it's an exhibition game. Like, let's not get too caught up. But it really has kind of set the tone defensively from what we've seen so far. Is Will Wade trying to fix it? Yeah, absolutely. We said that, which gets back to the final point on this segment. You said the defense. You got to pick something. What is NC State right now? Like, if I asked you,
what their identity is?
What is their identity? What would you say it is?
I don't know that they have one.
They got to make it defense. They have to make it defense. Have to. You're going to win some ugly basketball games, but you'll win. You got to pick something. That's kind of where we're at with NC State.
Look, in regulation, they held Liberty, which is a good team, to 45 points. Yep. Good shooting team. In regulation, they hold Kansas, who has the number 1 overall pick, to 66 points in regulation. So I get it. They're not sexy, advanced analytical numbers, but sometimes those counting stats can really tell you a big story about what your team's doing.
Housekeeping is brought to you by Inovana. Check them out online at inovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Inovana.
As we mentioned, we've got a OG year in review 2025 that'll drop on midnight Christmas. So when you wake up and you start opening presents, enjoying some eggnog, put us on the TV and you can watch. Who doesn't want to do that? Maybe you're lucky enough that somebody in your family bought you some OG merch and you'll be opening said OG merch while you watch. You went to the secret stash, the OG.shop, and got the Psycho Pig. You got Morgan Patrick. Joe, don't do that in the camera. That's a terrible, terrible idea. Don't do that.
To show the pig.
No, I get that, but not like that. So you could have easily just turned around in the chair. You didn't have to do that. So
There's something on the internet for everyone.
That's OG membership channel stuff, man. That's why people would pay $5. Okay. So
I couldn't tell if you could see Morgan or not.
You can. So you can go to the OG.shop and get some stuff. BreakingT.com/OG. They've got some great stuff too. They got deals all the time. You're all running out of time to get that stuff delivered by Christmas. So go and do that. But we spent yesterday recording a nearly 3-hour year in review. I bring this up to say that we'll do another year in review show for New Year's, but it'll be listener driven. So call the OG Sports phone, 919-444-2211. And give us your hottest takes in 2025, your moments of 2025, however you want to like set it up. By all means, call it, look back on 2025, reflect a little bit, and we will air those in one of our hybrid mailbag free side type things. We'll also do an OG audit on that show as well. So again, call the sports phone and give us your listener feedback for 2025. Speaking of feedback, you need an honest voice. You need a professional that's going to help you for your small business. Joe and I think we got a handle on things for the most part, but there are certain things that are just above our pay grade, if you will.
Many. Yeah.
And that's why you need a fractional CFO. It goes beyond just the basic paperwork. There's also some HR things and everything else that are in there. And if you're a small LLC, small business, you deal with government grants, you want to make sure that all that stuff is locked down tight. You got all the information you need. All your paperwork is right. And that's where Chris Brassfield can help you out. So check out brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com for all of your fractional CFO needs. And while he is based in Homer, Alaska, they do have an office in the RTP. Speaking of expertise, big thanks to our guy, Gordon Miller, over at Miller Lending. Check him out online at millerlending.com or call him directly at 919-447-3377. With Miller Lending, you don't pay closing costs. With Miller Lending, you're not hearing us talk about rates and fixed APRs, calling Miller Lending and going, hey, so I heard about this particular rate. Yeah, you see what had happened was, no, it doesn't work that way. The rate is the rate. You don't pay closing costs. You stay flexible. And most importantly, if it doesn't make sense for you to refinance, they're going to tell you it doesn't make sense to refinance. So you have no harm in calling 919-447-3377. 3377. Tell them we sent you, and you'll get a Roback from Joe Giglio.
Roback and Butcher's Market gift basket.
All sounds good to me. Speaking of Roback, OG20 is the promo code. I am Roback out today. I got the jacket. I got the undershirt here, the base layer. Super, super comfortable, man. It's all great stuff. And it's all on that website. Check them out online, roback.com. Use that promo code OG20. And of course, our friends at NC Grill Rescue. Christmas is next week. You're probably putting that outdoor grill to use just for yourself, or you got friends and family coming over for a big holiday gathering. You want to make sure that thing's in tip-top shape. You got time. Contact our friends at ncgrillrescue.com. Or the football season's over. Tailgating is over. You don't want that drum out in the back
collecting, ready for hockey,
collecting all that junk that you accumulated over the football season. And yes, you got to get ready for the hockey tailgating. Well, NC Grill Rescue can make that thing look brand spanking new.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
What do you got, Joe?
My brain, that I could still remember Sra Haran on the chalkboard, but I can't remember like what happened yesterday or last week or
did
you pay the mortgage? Did you pay the quarterly taxes?
You don't even know what day it is.
I got Sra Haran.
Senora Haran.
Cleaning the crap. Will you clean the crap out of your grill? Yes. NCGrillRescue.com.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline from the Yahoo Sports College Football Podcast, Phantom Island Podcast, and you see his contributions on the Washington Post. He is Steven Godfrey. Steven, what's going on, man?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me. I forgot my patter. You know, like when you start an interview, I suddenly blanked. I don't know about you guys, dude. I'm limping. I am limping to the finish of Q4 and college football season. So,
hey, but we're almost there. We're almost there.
At least it's not Christmas soon.
Wait. Oh shit! I gotta. Damn, I still got gifts to get. Speaking of Christmas, I feel like the ACC gave you a Christmas gift ahead of your appearance here, because last week you wrote something from the Washington Post that kind of raised an eyebrow for me. That was almost like, yeah, I get Notre Dame's point, but let's not act like Notre Dame doesn't go about things in a way that leads to some events like this. And eventually the bill was going to come due for Notre Dame in being left out in these situations. And then the ACC decides, hey, we got a brilliant idea. How about in an already uneven college football landscape? How about, and coming off an incredible tiebreaker situation, how about some of you play 9 conference games and some of you play 8 conference games next season? How does that sound? I'm like,
yeah.
Damn it. Guess maybe Steven's right. Maybe
from the conference that shit their pants in church, we're now going to shit our pants everywhere else. I forgot the metaphor didn't work. I just wanted to say shit your pants in church because that's what I think of the ACC.
All of this is a setup, though, to ask you the main question based on people that you talk to and given how the college football playoff shook out this year and the unevenness of everything.
Yes.
Something's got to give, right? Something's got to give to make some uniformity when it comes to picking out this bracket, right?
Yes, is the correct answer. But I'm going to be honest. I just don't give a shit anymore. And here's what I mean by this. I have a shelf life for Selection Sunday outrage, and it's like 2 days. And it's been, as you mentioned, almost 2 weeks now. Like the games are going to be played in 48 hours.
Yeah.
I just don't care anymore. I take deep joy in how angry what I call establishment media or partner media is that JMU and Tulane are in this thing. I very much enjoy that. I had, some might say, an ill-advised bout of sympathy for the Irish, which, like, historically, folks in our age range are like, man, that is the last consortium you want to give sympathy to. And I get that. Like, I grew up Protestant, and so, like, I remember, like, how we just hated Notre Dame by default.
Yeah.
Why? Nobody wants to ever talk about that. But like y'all are Carolina based. I'm originally from Georgia. You just grew up hating the Catholics. You grew up hating Notre Dame because they got overexposed. You grew up hating them you know what's weird? This is not.
Let me explain something. I went to Catholic school in South Florida. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. But my dad was a University of Miami grad with season tickets to the Orange Bowl from like 1980 through 1995. How do you think I feel about Notre Dame?
Yes, you should,
and I'm the
correctly.
And
I had to flip over, not because I'm an insane trad fuckhead, but just like I married a Catholic and we wanted to have some uniformity. That's all. It's mainly just to make the kids behave because you gotta have a uniformity on the guilt that you install. If one parent is installing more guilt than the other, then you're gonna get out of alignment.
Totally.
But it was funny. This is not a scientific analysis, but after I wrote that column for the Post, it wasn't ACC defenders because I don't even think that exists anymore. It was like Georgia fans and Alabama fans just dogpiling on Notre Dame, unnecessarily so, because I don't think that was the real argument this time. But there's a lot of to the bone hatred of the Irish. I'm sitting here celebrating and kind of thumbing my nose or putting the middle finger up at everyone who's so angry about Tulane and JMU. The Irish could probably beat almost everybody in the playoff. Like on the Yahoo show, that the night of the selection, we ran the numbers through Parker Fleming's CFB graph site. He's one of the nerds. He's a quant. That's not a slur, by the way. It sounds like a slur, doesn't it? He's a quantitative, and he has all these advanced analytics, and so he can give you neutral site projections up to the minute of like based on that week's roster. And like Notre Dame was favored in 9 games against 12 opponents. You really had to get to, I think it was like Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia. And those were the only games and I think in one of those games, guys, I think it was a pick'em. So that makes me feel a certain type of way. Like, okay, they've been omitted. I get that. The original debate that you and I had, we were talking, was more about the league management. Yes. But what I encourage people, like fan bases inside the ACC, to do is don't fall prey to cheering for the logo of the ACC, because it's not going to help you. It's not. You will not survive that way.
I agree with you, and I can tell you within ACC fandom, nobody roots for the logo in the ACC. If anything, there's almost a pettiness that will use that against the SEC. Like nobody rides for that. They're caught up in that. It's more so a unified dislike of how Notre Dame acts within the ACC, which then gets to a larger conversation about Notre Dame and whether or not the stakeholders in college football going forward are going to continue to give them this special treatment. That's always been my issue in this regard, including with the ACC. Like, why do we continue to treat them like the special eldest boy, right? And I know Dan Wolken of USA Today had said that some ADs said they want to freeze out Notre Dame. I'm curious if the very public tantrum that their AD had over the course of multiple appearances also kind of sours people with their treatment within college football, which gets to the big, large question and something that I know you brought up on the podcast and I thought was very, very smart in that you brought up The Club, which is a book about the English Premier League. And I agree with that the surface level of where things are going has to be some sort of super league. The problem with the English Premier League and European sports sentiment and how we treat sports here is that they actually have consequences for being good or bad with relegation.
Yeah.
We don't want that in the States. We want everybody to get theirs and nobody feel left out. And then if you do feel left out, you end up with this Notre Dame situation. So we feel like it's this competing mindset, and it's going to create this stalemate that doesn't advance anything where I think it should be going.
No, promotion relegation is probably the best system advisable for a sport this large and unruly. It will never happen in the United States because there's absolutely no way the individual stakeholders would ever sign on to the possibility of relegation. It's just too much lost revenue. They will not do it. It would become even more craven a sport than it is already. So within that, you're going to have this inertia inside the power leagues. You're going to have the complaints about G5 teams. Then you have Notre Dame. I agree. Like, it's funny because, like, so I wrote that column for the Post. Largely did two things: defended the relevancy of Notre Dame as a football program in 25, like as in like, hey, they should probably be playing in this tournament. And I shied people away from criticizing JMU and Tulane as taking their spot and saying like, no, the ACC should have just found a way to put Miami in the title game, and that would have been smart for everyone involved. I wrote that because newspapers have deadlines, and I hate this mentality because, like, well, for one, no one's opening a fucking paper anymore. A day later, Notre Dame's out there doing this like scorned lover shit with the ACC, and I'm like, man, it didn't invalidate what I said. It just made Notre Dame look a particular way that I didn't want to maybe throw my body in front of.
Sure.
The ACC owes you nothing. The ACC owes you nothing. The ACC, no one asked you to tie your fortunes to the ACC. And I want to be really clear about this. If you're watching, listening to this, and you are a fan of, let's just go more like football minded. So let's talk about the Pack. Okay. Sure. I shouldn't say that. Will Wade's my buddy. They're good, right? Are they good right now?
Reckoning's delayed right now. The reckoning has not happened yet. They've played 4 big games, and they've lost those 4 big games.
Hey, I can do this on the show. It's down in my truck. It's not in my office right now. So I did this Phantom Island about Will Wade, right? Like a couple months ago. And then Will Wade's like people sent me a bunch of shit, like workout gear. Yeah. I forgot Will Wade is I live in Nashville. Like, he's from here. I will work out Adidas workout gear. It's fantastic. No free plug, I guess. But I work out now in NC State basketball gear all the time. And the amount of people who walk up who are boomer aged and they go, "Oh, are you a North Carolina State fan?" And I'm like, I sort of know their coach, but I don't know anything about basketball. And then it's people related to him because he's from like Cookeville, Tennessee. This dude's got like 85 grandfathers and uncles or something. Everyone in the community is like, "We're really pulling for Will." And it's weird because this is the only spot where they're not like that demon bastard giving money to children. It's just amazing. So I'm right. It's this. Yeah, I'm riding with this for basketball. Right. Anyway, if you're an NC State football fan, kick them out. It's not doing you any good. It's not doing you any good at all. And the funniest part of the fit that was thrown through all the different, like, he went on like Dan Patrick, I think, and he talked to, I know he got on the phone with Ross Dellinger as we were recording Yahoo and just unloaded, just like Tupac hit him up level shit, at least for a Catholic AD. And I thought, I'm like, you guys are, if you want to sever this relationship with the ACC, that's fine. You have to have one of these agreements now, because if you try to schedule as a true independent, you won't have any resume possibility after October 1st.
Nope.
The biggest problem that no one's addressed is, what are they going to do now? Okay. So the issue, and I'll try and find it in my Phil Steele here, is that they had their resume bullets or potential resume games this year just so happened to, by dint of like the way things shook out, all occur before October 1st. So from like a hardcore football sense, Notre Dame was one team and then they were another. It's the fastest way I could say it, right? Like they're breaking in a new quarterback. They're unsure about their offensive identity. I don't think the defense was as good. These things happen. These things happen in college football all the time. But what any other independent can tell you, be it BYU or Army or anybody else who's done, or fucking UConn for the last couple of years, nobody's going to schedule you in November.
No.
So if you have the normal ebb and flow of college football, which is even higher now because the amount of turnover that we have. So we're really good rosters are losing something like 30 to 35% of the roster every year, right? Because of the transfer portal. Miami and A&M were your bullet points, and they were done on September 14th, and you lost both of them. Now, you didn't know that. You scheduled well, in my opinion. If you look at it, they got another SEC team in Arkansas. They, freaking Boise State was in the playoff last year. Like, you had USC on there. You had, like, you did the thing you were supposed to do, and there were just so many landmines. They actually weirdly got a bad shake. If you want to criticize the ACC for something, like the bottom fell out of Boston College and Syracuse this year.
Right.
Had one of those teams been above 500, maybe that pushes them, right? Mm-hmm. There's like, you can play the what if game here, like in a number of ways. What if Purdue wasn't perennially 2-10, right? But none of this is the ACC's fault. So if I'm an NC State football fan, or I'm a Wake Forest football fan, fuck it, leave.
Yeah.
That's not going to affect the fortune one way or the other. And it'll be interesting to see how what he says this offseason will represent his priorities. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm going to be fascinated to see if he's okay severing the tie, because it's not really helping. And now they have this independent agreement with Clemson that looks a lot worse than it did when they signed it. Mm-hmm. So good luck, man. Call the Big Ten and see if you can get 3 games that matter in November.
You won't.
No.
I don't know the numbers specifically, obviously, but you have a little bit of SEC brain here in terms of what the ACC's television contract is. Trust me, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but there is a significant financial advantage to NC State and Wake Forest and the poorer ACC schools that can't go out, like Florida State, Clemson, Miami, and go get games. So this is the same conference that added fucking Stanford, Cal, and SMU.
But the problem is,
you know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
On the dollar, they did it for pennies on the dollar. Like,
you're not wrong.
An idiot like Randy Woodson over there being convinced like $6 million more per year based on Stanford, SMU, and Cal is worth whatever. And it's not even that much to each school. It's like $1 million to each school. Mm-hmm. So whatever the number is, Notre Dame actually adds to their bottom line. Then there's also, like, literally, I can tell you, the 2 most season tickets sold, the 2 years of the most season tickets sold were when Notre Dame came to NC State. So,
but the problem is that
has the same result too. You know what I mean? So
that's short term.
I'm not disagreeing with you, and it's a bigger percentage of their increase than, say, a Big Ten or SEC gets by, their contract being, quadrupled every time they sign a new one, because the ACC has a 20-year deal that's not going to grow at that rate.
The problem is bigger. It's that if you need Notre Dame that much to survive, or you need Notre Dame that much for financial relevance in an overall television package, then you were dead before you started. And this gets into an ACC issue. They're not going to fully join your league. Okay. We've established that. They're not going to commit and play the 9-game schedule you need them to. And you yourself as a league are probably terminally flawed as you go into 2034. And what I don't know if I have a lot of suggestions for Phillips on this. Everything about the ACC right now feels like, on the football side, and this is where I want to be very careful, on the football side, is that there really isn't a winning move here. Eventually, adding the Bay Area will become a weight against you if it isn't already. The coaches complain about it incessantly. Anyone I talk to that has to go East time zone, West bounce, and then because rotationally you may get pocked once a year. There's no rhythm to it. Everybody hates it. And by the way, the West Coast schools hate it too. It was like the ultimate marriage. It wasn't even a marriage of convenience. It was like a marriage to get off the Titanic if you were the Bay Area schools.
If you want to be mad at Notre Dame for anything, be mad at for that. Jack Swarbrick was the one driving the bus on, you really need to save these incredible academic institutions in Stanford now.
Because they got to play Stanford.
Because
they got to play Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford was already on the schedule.
Yeah, but they started playing Stanford like in 1984.
It doesn't matter. It's tradition, Joe.
Their thing is total bullshit.
Tradition.
Yeah,
it's all tradition.
Look, how dare you insult the Tyrone Willingham Classic?
All right, moving off of this, and we'll wrap on this. You last offseason, you wrote some interesting stuff about Bill Belichick's transition from NFL coach to college football coach at North Carolina, and it wasn't glowing. And I think it all played out. It all played out the way that I know Joe and I talked about too. That a lot of these programs are just waiting to stick it to Bill Belichick. And we saw it here locally with closing out against Wake Forest, Duke, and NC State. They saved all their best stuff for that game, and he went 0-3 against the Big Four. Not a good look.
First time since 84 or something? 93, something, like a long time.
It was a long time.
88 or 89.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Now, the curiosity that I have, and this is the cope level that's coming out of UNC because they're stuck with Bill Belichick this offseason unless some NFL team comes and saves them. Maybe Tom Brady saves them, right? With how bad the Raiders have been under Pete Carroll. It's a possibility.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the potential.
Right, because Tom Brady has the chance to do the funniest thing to be like, hey, man, remember that debate between you and me? I won it. And the ultimate kill shot on me winning it is me hiring you.
Yeah,
so
you work for me now.
Right. That's something
I'm the captain there.
That's something that Brady would do. So that's something to keep an eye on. But let's say that doesn't happen. Clearly, Carolina is committed to another season of this with Bill Belichick. And the cope is, well, he learned this offseason. He learned. Now knows what it takes to be a college football coach. So all the things that were behind, like spring, August practice, getting the right coordinators, dealing with recruits and all this other kind of stuff. Mike Lombardi understanding that, 40 freshmen is the key.
Okay. No. All
right.
I'm stopping there at Lombardi.
I'm just telling you what the cope is.
Who is putting this shit out?
Oh, buddy.
Mike Lombardi.
Mike Lombardi is definitely putting it out on his typewriter.
Fuck. Yeah. I mean,
of course, if you go to the Inside Carolinas and the Tar Heel 24/7s, you see the true believers on the message boards.
Nope. You made your bed, lie in it.
Exactly.
You made your bed. This is not our fault.
The question is, what is the read in the college football people you talk to about Bill Belichick? Is this a non-story? Are people just moved on? They're just like, oh, he's hanging out at an adult cheerleading competition again? Like, what is this offseason going to look like for Bill?
The criticism now, there's a higher level of criticism for or against Lombardi than there is for Belichick.
Yes.
On Phantom Island, we had Michael Felder on, former UNC player, and he had this brilliant.
I have not listened to that episode yet, but I can imagine what Felder was saying.
PhantomIsland.show. Subscribe today. There's one thing inside of this bigger, longer discussion that he had with my co-host Ryan that really stood out to me, and I'll try to shrink it down. He watched every game, obviously, like as a former player and alum, and he said, "You know what? I just never saw communication." And at first, that sounds like sports writer pablum, except Mike played for UNC. And here's what he meant by that: he's like, there was no awareness of these games mattering. There was for like internal culture, it was obvious. What you could see on television was that like North Carolina as a roster, as players, had no idea or no external representation that like, oh man, this is a game against Duke. Let's get up. This is a game against NC State. We should own these bastards. Nothing. Because of that dour sort of emotionless professionalism that at his best Belichick was known for, combined with the fact that this is a new culture absent of anything to do with the actual North Carolina. And, you know, he mentioned, he's like, they don't talk. They run a man defense. So they literally don't communicate with one another. And it's just very obvious that these are all just individuals sort of filling out roles and there's zero team culture. And the reason why that matters is this is still college sports. And so because Bill Belichick excelled in the NFL, you're now seeing the downside of NFL culture and where it fails to address the college game. This isn't, I will stop punching them in the face for a second and tell you that like he's not alone in this. Lovie Smith couldn't do this. Herm Edwards couldn't do this. Like there's a litany of NFL coaches. Like very few day walkers amongst us, folks. Steve Spurrier couldn't do it with the Redskins. Okay, Pete Carroll's pretty much the only one who could walk between worlds. And there's a lot of circumstantial. It's still weird to me that Harbaugh's shtick works in the league, but he actually honed his shtick in the league. That's for another day. I think that it's not going to get. First off, I was about to say it's not going to get better. Well, what's better? The expectation was that a 85 Super Bowl winning time coach was going to come in and start winning national championships for North Carolina. That's what I was told. Remember, they're the 33rd NFL team, guys. Yeah. All punching aside, I've heard more criticism about Lombardi than I have about Belichick. And there's still significant criticism against Belichick. He does not understand how to communicate with college players. For all of his prowess at identifying and tape crunching for the NFL draft, it's a completely different methodology when you're looking at 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. Okay? North Carolina, as a football apparatus, was flawed to begin with. They were a perennial they're a program that sort of perennially talks about their potential versus their actual output. Mm-hmm. Nothing about this particular group of leadership is going to change that. But Lombardi's the punchline. Lombardi's the one that everybody makes fun of. Lombardi's the one that they're
not going to get rid of him either. That's his guy.
You know why? He's doing all the dumb college shit you have to do.
Yeah,
that Bill refuses to do. It's that. So the thing we've all been asking about over in the SEC is like, who's going to do all the shit Kiffin doesn't want to do at LSU? There's always a guy. Every time Lane Kiffin is somewhere long enough that does all the stuff that Lane Kiffin flakes out on. Like, oh, hey, there's a Memorial Golf tournament and you got to go. Hey, we'd really like you to be at this basketball game, or like, can you go shake hands here? And like Kiffin bolts. He doesn't do any of that shit.
Yeah.
So the big talk that I've heard in coaching circles is who on that new LSU staff is going to go do all that stuff. Lombardi does all that stuff for Bill. Yeah. So no, you can't get rid of him. And I don't know if you guys are tired of it. I don't know if you guys are reveling in it. I know that North Carolina is sort of reviled by all the other institutions in the area because of the elitism and all that. Although right. what is Duke if not another North Carolina?
Blue collar in Durham, man. Let me tell you. No, anyway.
Okay, sorry. My brain broke for a second. The rest of I don't know if people are tired of hearing this in your backyard, but the amount of offense taken by influential and powerful people in the coaching and GM and personnel world over the dumb shit that was said unchecked by these two people, the punching in the face is they're not going to let up. And remember, they open the entire college football season next year in Ireland.
Yeah.
Is every single person who can get a chance to punch them in the face is going to do it.
And their schedule's tougher. That's the best part. That's the best part.
The last time you and I talked about this in person in Raleigh.
Yeah. Yes.
I was shitting all over him and you're like, but look at the schedule.
That was me.
That was Joe, not me. That's
that
Joe.
Was Joe. Yeah, that's right.
That was the other Joe. I was very much on like, cool. Wake me up when we actually know what this team looks like in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, and the portal is going to be interesting too, because again, it gets back to guys not wanting to be around that, wanting to be around Mike Lombardi. And to your point, we'll just wrap on this to bring it back to Felder. He was sending me social media videos that NC State fans were posting when the UNC players were walking through the tunnel out for warm-ups, and they're just getting motherfucked by State fans, and they were smiling. And when Felder saw that, he's like, these motherfuckers are smiling while this is happening? No wonder they got smoked. And that gets back to the mindset from Bill Belichick.
Yep.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
I can't imagine playing a whole football season without my coach talking to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or giving two shits about me.
I think the only way that could work is if you had a position coach relationship that was really strong, or a coordinator relationship that was really strong. And guess what? They just fired the one dude. They put it all on Freddie, right?
They had to. There was no choice. They had to move on from Freddie.
They could have hired. They could have fired their fucking defensive coordinator.
Oh, no, whoa! Hey,
they got better.
They got better on defense. They got better on defense. What's 42 plus 32, boys? Plus 28.
Steven Godfrey.
I have the record in front of me. Hey, fuck them, man.
Yahoo Sports Podcast, College Football Podcast, Phantom Island, and of course, contributing to the Washington Post as well. Hey, man, we appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Always an interesting conversation with Steven Godfrey. I enjoyed that. I always enjoy some outside ACC perspective. Maybe you need some outside perspective on your financial planning. You think you got a handle on things. You might not. I thought I had a handle on things, and then I got hit with a brick this year. You know, some planning would go a long way. You know who can help you with financial planning?
Matt Davis.
State Farm. Check them out online at insuregarner.com or call them directly at 919-779-8277. Yes. He can save you money on home and auto. By all means, if you haven't checked your insurance rates in a long time, call them, all right? But they can also help you with financial planning. 919-779-8277. Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Ups and downs. It's cold. It's dry. It's 60 degrees one day. It's 20 degrees the next day. How's your crawl space doing? Moisture barrier might be helpful.
360 moisture barrier.
So contact our friends at bugsbite.com. You can get your quarterly pest treatments. You can get your mosquito treatments. You can even do misting systems in the back. They got it.
Termites.
All that stuff. And of course, our friends. So go to bugsbite.com. And of course, our friends at Bloom and Blinds. Chris just sent us a big job that they did, which is very, very cool. Are you a small business? Are you somebody at a school who makes decisions?
Ooh.
Hey, Bloom and Blinds, they can hook it up. They'll even buy your blinds. So give them a call at 919-980-9815. Again, that's 919-980-9815. BloomandBlinds.com. What are you laughing at?
Just Josh Johnson. Is that his name, the comedian?
I don't know.
On Comedy Central.
I don't know.
Daily Show. He is talking about selling things in order to make things work. It was about a Trump policy about drugs.
Okay.
You know, pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
And how, like, you know, he's going to lower drug prices by raising drug prices in Germany. And then if they don't raise their drug prices, then we won't buy German cars.
What does this have to do with blinds?
Well, then he was talking about how that was like a crackhead who was like, I will sell you this tire if you give me $50. Well, I don't have a tire. Well, I'm going to sell you the blinds. Okay. I'm going to sell you the blinds.
But he'll buy your blinds.
But I'll buy
He'll buy his old blinds.
I don't know how he's making this work. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. I know he can fix your blinds.
He'll buy them.
But he's going to buy them?
Old blinds.
It's amazing.
Let's go. 919-980-9815. And of course, our friends at Happy and Hale. I just got done with a hockey tournament. It was nothing but brown food, Nashville hot chicken. I need some green in my life. And you might need some green in your life too. It's holiday eating time, right? Big, rich food. Mix it up a little bit with Happy and Hale.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
We're not going to take a hockey break here. What we're going to do is go back to the OG Sports Phone and take a testimonial about Happy and Hale.
What's up, fellas? It's Morsey here in the 919, and I heard you say that if you need to get something off your chest, this is the place to do it. So, as a longtime listener and first-time caller, I need to make you aware of an egregious oversight Every time you do a hockey break that is brought to us by Happy and Hale, somebody brings up how great the Bueno Bowl is. And I'm sure it is great, but you're burying the lead. You're burying the lead because the Protein Bowl, with its combination of the habanero vinaigrette and goat cheese and like 9 different kinds of meat, it's perfect. It is nutritionally satisfying and it's delicious. I have no association with that company. I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just tired of hearing about the Bueno Bowl when the Protein Bowl exists. Thank you for your time.
That's fair. So, you know what? I get like stage fright when I get there because I know I can create my own, but I feel like Jordan and Tyler already come up with like amazing combos that I don't like to stray.
No, I'm with you on that.
Right? Because the Protein Bowl, there is a choice involved.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I appreciate that. But again, there's customization. You can do your thing.
Everyone's got their own thing.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
a
good thing.
So go check them out. Go check them out. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group microphone in studio here in downtown Raleigh, Shannon Scott. I'm going to get this right, Shannon. Board president, Triangle Educational Advancement Foundation. I can't remember my own.
You got it. Or AKA TEEF.
TEEF. All right, there we go. Look, bottom line, this is all for the John Wall Holiday Invitational that's taking place December 26th and 27th, and then 29th and 30th. The boys are going to be at Broughton, as they traditionally are,
Yes.
and then the girls are going to be playing over at Southeast, right?
Southeast Raleigh High School.
So for those who are unfamiliar with, this is the 50th?
53rd.
53rd. That's a long time. That's some history right there. That's
older than me.
That's
A
tradition.
lot of history.
Makes me feel good.
So what is it? So what is it about this basketball tournament for those who might be new to the area, younger? What's the hook here for people?
You know, I think the hook is that we are bringing in some of the top high school players from all over the country to come play in this tournament. As you said, the tournament has a lot of history. This is the 53rd year. It started in 1972 with Phil Ford, was the first to play in this tournament the first 2 years.
Yeah.
So it has become a Triangle staple, I think, over the Christmas holiday, where I think people who are staying here in town, they plan their holiday around coming to this tournament. And we sell out every single year, pretty much all 4 days of the tournament. And the atmosphere, the players, it's great. You get the local Triangle coaches showing up to watch players for recruiting. And it's a outstanding, exciting time.
That's always my favorite part of the Holiday Invitational, the ones that I've been to, whether for work or sometimes I get roped into some of my Broughton friends and say, come on, man, come on down to Broughton, whatever. See what a real basketball gym is like, Cardinal Gibbons guy. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. And I will always crack up when I see a high-level coach sitting along the wall, just like all cramped up with the other coaches. Like, oh, look at that. They're just like us, They're just like us, sitting out here and scouting and things like that. And I think the other thing, too, that I've always enjoyed about this tournament when I've gone, we were talking about it before we sat down and started recording, is even if you don't know some of these kids, because you know me, I'm not that big into recruiting. People know this about me.
Not while I have coffee in my mouth.
You know me, deep into the recruiting message boards over here. But when you go to an event like this, sometimes that eye test, you go, oh, okay, I see.
Absolutely. You can tell watching these games, it's such high level basketball for the most part. And then when you see the guy, you see the guy.
Yes.
Over the years, the Jonathan Kumingas,
you're right.
De'Aaron Fox, DeAndre Ayton, Cade Cunningham just a few years ago.
Yes.
Actually, that Montverde team had, 5 Division I players.
Ridiculous.
They Ron Sharp from the area, Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes. Just watching those guys play, you can look at them and go, that's the guy. That's an NBA guy. And I mean, we've had 3 number 1 draft picks play in this tournament over the years. Oh my gosh, I'm on the spot. See if I can name him. John Wall.
That's
DeAndre Ayton.
That's a good one. That's the big one.
Of course.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
And there's one more. It's actually 4. And who's the other one? It's one more.
Number 1 overall?
Yeah, number 1 overall pick, and it's not from that long ago either.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say the names.
But anyway,
it'll come to us. The name's escaping us.
But one thing I wanted to say, Joe, about the tournament is that this tournament happens because of John Wall and the Family Foundation. They are title sponsors, as well as the sponsorships and donors from around the Triangle. Some other NBA players, past and present, like the T.J. Warrens, Devontae Graham, Day'Ron Sharp, those guys. So it's those guys have all played in the tournament, so it's them giving back as well. But what I really wanted to highlight was the fact that a lot of people know about the tournament, but the reason why we have this tournament, this is not a for-profit tournament. This is we generate the funds from this tournament and the sponsorships to fund scholarships that that TEEF gives away in the springtime. So we give away 10 $5,000 scholarships that's available to students from 45 or so public high schools in the area, so 5 different counties in the area. And that's what it's all about. So TEEF is a 501c3 foundation. It's for the past 25 years, we've given out those scholarships. We've given out over $1.4 million in scholarships.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's really what this is about. So I think some people look at it and go, oh, the basketball tournament, who's making this money from this? But all this money goes to fund those scholarships. So we really appreciate the sponsorship from John and all of our sponsors. And if anyone out there is interested in basketball or just in helping with funding scholarships for kids in the community, definitely go to our website, which is teefnc.org. So that's TEAFNC.org. And we'd love for more people to get involved.
And you can still get tickets, right?
You can still, tickets are only purchased at the door.
Okay.
So get there early because we do hit capacity on most nights. So get there early. The schedule and the teams will be on the website, which is thejohnwall.com.
What's your favorite part about this tournament?
My favorite part about the tournament is really just seeing the stars for tomorrow. I mean, we have a lot of kids that come in that obviously are being recruited by the Triangle schools, but
they kind of screwed with you, right? Like there's like NCAA rules because you used to be able to play some of these games
at Reynolds.
And then they were like, no, it's a recruiting advantage for NC State. Mike Krzyzewski's out here coaching the fucking Olympic team.
Right.
Whoa.
Reynolds? Oh, no. Well,
it's a bridge too far.
It's NC State. Can't give NC State an advantage, right? Can't have that happen.
Exactly.
Can't have that happen.
Exactly. But that's my favorite part, watching these kids at a young age. And then now you watch them in the NBA and I go, hey, that guy was at our tournament. Those guys are at our tournament.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the tournament. And then my favorite part about being a part of the TEEF organization is just, at the end of the year, we usually have anywhere from 85 to 100 applicants for the scholarship. And you got to narrow that thing down to 10, which is really tough. And when you look at it, more than 90% of those kids are deserving for the scholarship, but you got to get it down to 10. So that's why, we're definitely would love to increase the sponsorships and the donations so that we can possibly give out more scholarships or give more than $5,000 to each person would be the goal and the mission at this point. And I don't want to forget to say that our board is made up of 8 volunteer members from the Triangle that are all passionate about, the youth in our community, education, and most of us love basketball as well, of course. So
you're not a Knicks fan, obviously.
I'm not a Knicks fan.
Okay.
No.
Hey,
Carl Anthony Towns is your other number one.
Oh, that's who it was.
Overall pick.
That's probably why. Number one.
Probably. Hey, put some respect on the Knicks. Bing bong. They are your NBA Cup champs. Put some respect on the Knicks. Okay. Come on now.
Now, Shannon, I'm going to try to explain to our audience how I actually know you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll fill in the blanks if you.
All right. So Darren LaRose is my best friend who I grew up with, went to kindergarten and all through NC State. You somehow ended up working with Darren?
Correct.
At Enterprise.
Yep. 98 or 99.
So it's been a hot minute.
A long time.
So then, okay, I think you left Enterprise first, or did Darren leave before you?
Darren left first. I hung around for a while.
You did?
14 years.
Okay. So then randomly, I see you at an NC State basketball game, maybe in like 2019, 18, 19. you somehow know Kevin Keats because I think you guys grew up or you have mutual friends that you all kind of grew up together.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend. We have a mutual friend. So one of his good friends I played against in college, played basketball against in college for 3 years. We remained friends. And then we ran into each other one weekend in Roanoke, Virginia. And they were together. And I met Kevin Keats then. That was like 99, maybe.
I was going to say, when I say I saw you at an NC State basketball game, this wasn't on the concourse. This was outside the NC State locker room where you were allowed in and I wasn't. And I'm like, the fuck is Shannon doing here? How else he got more pull than I do over here?
Friend of a friend. So
Hey,
so my good friend Otis Tucker is they grew up together in Lynchburg, and I've known Otis since 94, 93 or 94, and I met Kevin Keats and I think I met him in like 97, 96, 97.
With Kevin, it always goes back to the Lynchburg Mafia.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, fast forward again, I see you at a Garner football game, and I'm like, now what the fuck is Shannon doing at a Garner football game? You live in Garner now.
Yeah, live in Garner.
Yeah.
It always comes back to the G.
I mean, we're all the
center of the triangle universe.
The G.
And do you know who, this is a great segment. Do you know who Shannon used to work with at Enterprise?
I do not.
Our corporate champion, Matt Davis, State Farm.
I did not know that.
I'm sitting there because Matt cooks at the Garner football games.
Yeah.
He brings the grill out. He does an unbelievable job. Shannon's over there talking to Matt. And now I'm like, how does Shannon know Matt?
6 degrees.
Like, hang on a second. Wait, how does Shannon have more guys than I do?
6 degrees
How's
of
that even
Garner.
possible?
No, 6 degrees of Garner.
Right?
I love it.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
And here we are now. And he says to me, you know, I'm part of the John Wall tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we're looking to keep this thing going because it's so important. It really is important. You know, we talk about the Sir Walter Mile. We talk about unique events to this area.
Yeah.
This truly is one of them. And you say Phil Ford. There's people out there who don't realize. They might only think, oh, Phil Ford, Carolina. No, Rocky Mount, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, that really swung Dean Smith in 73 or 4, whatever he committed, because State had David Thompson. State had the greatest of all time, to the point where Dean Smith went to Bill Guthridge and said, hey, we got to get this Phil Ford. And Bill Guthridge goes to the intramurals office. I don't know if you know this story. Bill Guthridge goes to the, he'll remember it now while I'm saying it. Bill Guthridge goes to the intramural store. Hey, we got a camp coming up. We got Phil Ford coming from Rocky Mount. We got to get this guy. We need an official to work his games to make sure that he has a great camp and all the calls go his way. Oh, wow. So Guthridge goes to the intramural director. The intramural director goes, I got a guy for you. I got a guy. Roy Williams. Roy Williams was the official who worked the camp that made sure that Phil Ford had a great visit at Carolina and made sure that he wanted to come back and didn't make NC State into a national power. Instead, went to Carolina and fought. And my mentor, Colton Tudor, always said Phil Ford's the greatest player in the history of UNC basketball. Even all those who came after him, and everyone knows Jordan, of course, but he said Phil Ford was actually... That's who Phil Ford was. And obviously the four corners and all that. So I say all of this as a way of saying we have these events. You can see some of these players. You understand the lore, but you can't lose events like this. And it's important that, you know, your foundation is supported. And again, you're not doing this for money. You're not doing this to come on here and tell me a story, although I will ask you an Allen Iverson story. You're not coming on here to tell me a story. You're coming here to try to get support for this event.
Absolutely.
And John Wall's been amazing. Like, for real.
Oh, yeah, he has.
You know, like John is another guy, Garner guy, you know, comes up, Eddie Gray, and ends up going to Broughton, you know, everything else, falls out. We're all of a sudden, we're at Word of God. And he becomes a phenomena. Everybody wanted John.
Absolutely.
I think John may have been the last local type who everybody wanted. Brandon Ingram, maybe, but, you know, no, Brandon Ingram come after him, but still, Wall was John was it.
It was still it.
You know,
it was the it guy.
and it would have been easy.
Billy Donovan at North Hills Panera. That was a big deal, man. That was a big. Why is he here? Oh yeah, John Wall.
It would have been easy for John to go to State. It would have been easy for John to go to Carolina. It would have been easy for John to go to Duke. It would have been easy. He goes to Kentucky, plays for Calipari. It would have been easy for him to disappear forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he came back And this tournament is a big part of his legacy here. And it's a huge credit to him that he's done that. But it's also, you're on a board, you're trying to be realistic about, hey, what are some really good ways to keep this amazing event, these amazing stories, to keep them going? So what is the best way for people to kind of just reach out to you and get a hold of you so that they know that, we want to keep this event strong, and we want to get into the 60s and the 70s and the 80s in terms of years with this tournament?
The best way is go to the foundation website, which is teafnc.org. And you can contact us through there. There'll be an email address there. You can contact us through there. Just get involved. We got a lot of big companies here in the Triangle. We got a lot of grassroots companies here in the Triangle. And there's a lot of connections to basketball here in the Triangle as well. And I mean, we have a ton of the local schools that play. We're here talking about the Montverts, Inspire Academies, and IMGs and stuff, but all of our local teams play. Broughton, Garner,
all my guys this year, right? You got Scotty out of Broughton, Jordan Page. He'll be a guy who brings him out.
Absolutely.
And then the G, man, we've been watching the G. Gotta get that AJ Randall going a little bit.
They got some growth to do, but they'll get there.
He's a D1 athlete. We'll see.
And Ed, you were talking about the history of Phil Ford really quick. So the very first tournament in 1972, Rocky Mount wins the championship. Phil Ford has 35 points in that game against Cedric Maxwell, another NBA
cornbread.
Right.
Yeah.
So, a ton of history. I mean, we could talk a long time about all the players that have come through this thing, but
can we get the life? Is the life coach roughing these games?
He has, I'm sure.
He has to.
Yeah,
Steve
was actually at the game, the last game we were at, the last Garner game where they came out of retirement. He reffed the game.
I guess
Shannon was over there too. But real quick, you're not Lynchburg. You are Norfolk, right?
No, well, near Norfolk. So north of Norfolk. I grew up in a town, Gloucester County.
Okay.
So just north of Newport News.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I've driven through it.
Okay, there you go. On Highway 17, you go right through
it. So anyway,
so everything I did though was like in Newport News and Hampton area.
Yeah.
So I grew up there.
And you were a baller.
I played basketball in high school as well. Peninsula District.
I'm headed up there this weekend, up to the Hampton Roads area for Iceland Family Skating Center for some hockey. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So I grew up Peninsula District. So the Hamptons, the Bethels, the Kicatans. I came along. I played against Aaron Brooks,
the Crabbers.
That was at UVA and the Saints.
Shout out to Shannon Penn.
So,
but
I gotta ask, man. People our age know when I say this.
Yeah.
With Allen Iverson,
go for it.
Were you at the bowling alley or?
So I was just a couple years older than him.
Okay.
So I was not at the bowling alley, but I was I don't know if I want to say witness or victim here, but I played against him twice in high school. I one of the games specifically, he had 36. The second game was a little better. He didn't have quite 36, but we were both in the 20s. I think he had 28. I had 21.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had a good game.
You don't have to say think. I mean, nobody.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
He's a Hall of Famer. What am I going to say?
He crossed up Jordan. Okay,
that's right.
That's right. No shame.
Hey,
as long as he didn't step over you,
I held him 36. That's got to be kind of equivalent to the Chris Childs 50 on Chris Childs, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's all good. But the real thing with Chuck is that I got to play with him in Pro-Am, like after his freshman year was after my junior year. We're home for the summer, play Pro-Am. I'm on his team, and it's bananas. 2,000 people in a gym, just a high school gym to come watch him play. And I mean, Tony Rutland was on our team as well. We played against Joe Smith. I know your wife went to school with Joe Smith. We talked about
Maury.
Yeah.
Commodore.
So that was crazy. And just watching him score 60 and 70 points in a Pro-Am game was unbelievable. One of the most competitive people I ever played with and against, for sure. Diana Taurasi probably would be second on that list that I've ever played against. But good time. So a lot of basketball history. We have a lot of athletes from the Tidewater area, so I got to play with quite a few.
And that's how the real ones know. Bubba Chuck. There you go.
Yeah, Chuck for sure.
Shannon, thanks for coming through. Best of luck with this event, and people want to get involved, by all means, reach out. We want to keep this thing going. That's why you're here. It's important. So let's make this thing and keep it going. So good luck, man. Have fun this week.
Hey, I thank you. Appreciate you guys. Enjoyed it.
And does this mean I don't have to hit up Webb for tickets, or can I just go to you for them?
Hey, go to Webb.
Okay, I'll take care of it. I'll have Webb take care of it.
You can call me anytime.
Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. It's like Christmas is like a week away. Christmas Eve is actually a week away. You might be invited to some family gatherings, maybe a weekend thing. You can grab and go. The ham biscuits are fantastic. Or if you're looking for last minute sides, any of that stuff, you can get it at the Butcher's Market. Are you looking for a last minute gift? Yeah, gift cards are cool. And by all means, get a gift card for the Butcher's Market. But may I interest you in the Steak of the Month Club? That is the gift that keeps on giving. Who needs a bonus for your pool when you could get the Steak of the Month Club? So check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. Speaking of the gifts, hey man, Two Roosters is a gift every single time you go. So head on over to tworoosters.com. I know the Canes are going to be back in action here. You can get the Slavin Sunday at the arena and a variety of other flavors. May I suggest the reindeer tracks at the shops? They're fantastic. And of course, you can get ice cream cakes and all that kind of fun stuff. So check them out, tworoosters.com. Again, that's tworoosters.com. Big thanks to our friends at Whitaker and Hamer, corporate champion from the jump. You can check them out online at wh.lawyer. Attorneys and counselors at law. You have small to medium-sized business legal needs, contracts, all that kind of stuff. They can handle that for you. So hit them up at wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. You want to be close to like the epicenter of some OG corporate champions, right? Like let's say you want to be around a Two Roosters and a Butcher's Market, right?
They can handle that.
It's like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
We got you. And you can go right there. You want to be around that Lake Boone area? Yeah, they can find a spot for you. Trying to sell your house? They can help you out with that too. So check them out online at myhtr.com. It's My Hometown Realty. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. Let's go back to the OG Sports Phone, shall we?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
All right, let's go to a 919.
Hey guys, just calling to let you guys know that NC State shit is still alive and well. I'm not sure if you guys been following the NC State men's soccer run, but just go look at that golden goal by Washington and tell me that wasn't offside. That is all. Oh, by the way, incredible season from the soccer team. They're in really great shape, I think, right now, and the fans really came out last night. Just really sucks that game had to come down to that. All right, thanks.
Yeah, I went to the game. I'm going to disagree, not necessarily with the call itself, but Washington's first goal was fluky. A little bit of a misplay by the NC State keeper, who had a really, really good season. State then falls down 2-0. They make a great comeback, like a all-time great rally. Like, you know, again, things that are NC State, like this great, you know, historic, like
one of the hockey parents. We were in Garner, and somehow the Garner Wi-Fi held strong enough that she could watch. Yeah, she was a soccer player, so she was all invested in this championship game. She was watching on her phone, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" She's like, "They're down 2-0." I was like, "Oof."
So they come back with 3 minutes. They score the equalizer with 3 minutes left in regulation. Number 10 for Washington, Richie Amon, was the best player on the field, and he set up 2 of Washington's goals, including the golden goal there in overtime. Sometimes the other team has a better player. Sometimes the other team, and Washington's keeper had
what are you gonna do?
Had a tremendous game. But number 10 for Washington was very, very gifted, to the point where, you know, I get super annoying where I think I know everything.
No,
and
not you.
I'm watching the end of regulation, and I'm like, my buddy Darren was with me, and Brendan was with me, and Jonathan was with me, and I said, at the risk of coaching Washington's team here, why they don't give the ball to number 10 every single time they're, you know, on this side of the field is perplexing to me.
Yeah.
Like literally 3 seconds later, number 10 had the puck and ends up setting up the game-winning goal. So there we are.
Let's go back to the sports phone at 336.
So Matt in DC here. On the way home from work yesterday, listening to the pod, like usual. All excited to go home, watch the NC State soccer game, and for the first time ever, you guys are talking about soccer. Like, oh, great. And then Giglio opens his mouth and just goes, well, the real Red Reckoning is the soccer team. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. He jinxed us. We're going to lose. He just puts that out there in the universe. And then what happens? Wolfpack. Overtime loss. So, thanks, Giglio. You guys are both state grads. You ought to know better than to put that junk out in the universe before you play such a big game. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Shameful. I mean, was it the Shannon Sharp that had a take on ESPN or whatever it was a while ago? It was like, come on, man. Anyways, love the show. Keep up the good work. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah,
See?
I'm not taking credit for that. No.
The cooler. There's the cooler.
Dude was the best player.
That's funny.
It happens.
That's funny. From Bradley on Twitter, this is where we need some crowdsourcing here. Message me this person's real name and Venmo. First hockey game, they got a fan for life. Yeah, there is a Chewbacca that shows up to Canes games. If any, pretty
elaborate.
No. It's
get up.
It is a good Chewbacca costume.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows who is the Canes Chewbacca, because I don't know who it is, message me. We'll get that figured out and we'll go from there. Right? Does that sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see you all for a Butcher's Market OG Live tomorrow.